So welcome to another update video. This is week 3 summary, and I had gotten Chancla out and about, walking outside of the stable area. She did really good, and here she's learning how to tie. She's kind of a wiggle worm. I mean, we are dragging the rope, so that's a little bit scary. But I didn't get it on video. We had some drama, some rearing up and falling down when I was trying to lead her before we got to this point. And that thing on her is called the Sierra horse halter. And what it does is it puts pressure on the neck and the nose and relieves pressure on the pole so they don't pull back. They end up jumping forward when they get pressure. We have found that to be very effective in preventing and stopping horses that pull back. So she had to wear that for a few days, and now she's out of it. And then I'm just spraying her down there, and she did really, really good. I'm very happy with, she wasn't super reactive with the spray on her legs, so that's encouraging. And I brushed her mane out finally. So here's another day. What I'm doing is kind of working on, she's completely at liberty, and she's so smart, like just disengaging her hind end at liberty. And she was really good. I'm just working on touching her. I hadn't picked up her feet yet. This is the furthest I'd gotten down her leg, and she was really good with that. She's pretty distracted. She's much better now, but was really distracted with anything going on outside of the round pen. And there, I'm just trying to get her to move over when I ask her to, because she's kind of in my space a lot and kind of up on me. So we've been working on that. And then here, I'm just working on touching her further and further back. And able to see how she reacts down her leg for later when I need to pick up that foot. And that was really, really good. So since she is so kind of pushy up on me, and I need to use the backup to fix a lot of other issues, I decided to go ahead and teach her the backup. And I'm making a verbal cue as well as I pick up on that halter and pull on it and tap her. And first I just rewarded a lean back, and I'm still doing positive reinforcement. I just cut that out because it takes forever. I just cut it out of the video. And so she's getting better every day, little steps, baby steps. And so here I'm trying to work on spraying her because she still wants to take off running and get all scared when I spray her with the fly spray. And so I had her target it. So anything that she's scared of, I have her target it with her nose first. And then that's how I know she's ready to proceed. And I probably should have stopped right before she was leaving, but she chose to leave. So I decided to use a different method to kind of get her used to this. And this is that whole thing of making the right thing easy and the wrong thing hard. So the wrong thing was moving away when I sprayed her. So I'm going to make her go out there and work. And I'm getting her to walk, trot, and canter. You can see getting the canter is a bit of an effort. And I picked up on when she goes to the right, she only wants to pick up the left lead or only pick up the front lead on the right and not the hind. And so that's something just going to put in the back of my brain that, okay, she might have a little something going on in her body. I probably need to work on doing a lot to going to the right and working on that right lead on the ground to strengthen it. Because, of course, horses are naturally one-sided. So it just tells me that I need to do something with that. Just kind of file in the back of my brain, like just pay attention to those kind of things, which lead they prefer, if they struggle picking one up more than the other one, that sort of thing. And so we progressed she picked up on that whole, I don't think I really like to run around. It works great on a horse like this who likes to conserve energy. That method, I find on hotter horses, it actually can backfire and make them more nervous. So I don't always use it. Worked great for her. And here I have a rope around her foot. I do a lot of stuff at liberty like this because I find that they tend to shut down and freeze less that way, and to be a little bit more expressive of letting me know how they're feeling when I don't have a halter on. And so that was really, really good. So all I'm wanting her to do here is just pick it up. As far as picking up for any length of time, that will come later. I will just build on it It's a little bit different than what a sitter does. He will hold it until they stop kind of pulling and then release when they are relaxed. And I am building from, I just want them to first lean away and then pick up the foot and then pick it up for a little bit longer and then a little bit longer. So different method, different technique, both effective. And this was really, really good. So she's telling me right now, because I went down and touched that leg before I picked it up, and she's telling me now, oh, I don't know. You see the tail swish. She's, kind of getting upset about flies that didn't bother her a minute ago. She's telling me, and she's moving her butt away, that I'm not comfortable. I got a little uncomfortable there. So I need to listen to her. And that's what I did. And I'm doing something easier. So this is the easier spot. And I rewarded her for that. Because if I kept being obnoxious and pushing that's how you get kicked. She's already letting me know I'm a little uncomfortable, so I have to respect that. And then start to go back and do something that's a little bit easier for her and build up her confidence. And then you could see how well that worked out. I built up her confidence, and then I asked to pick that up, and she was, much more receptive. So just be really, really cognizant and aware when they are trying to just whisper to you that something's bothering them, so they don't have to yell and kick and bite and strike and buck. So here I brought Lumpy in. He's one of my Mustang that I adopted in 2007. I've had him forever. He's super cool. And so I love to pony. I pony all my horses that I have in training. And so what I'm doing here is I'm using the target to show her what I want her to do when I'm on another horse and I want to pony her, where I want her and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just kind of showing her what I want before I actually do it. And also just to kind of gauge her reaction of me on another horse. She can be a little bit kind of feisty and aggressive to other horses outside of her pen when she's in her pen. So I was kind of curious to see how she would behave with a person on another horse. And she was really, really good. I was very, very happy with her. And so this is just nice for her to see me up there. It just kind of helps transition for what I'm going to be on her. And just kind of give her some lovin's. That was a lot of fun. This day, all we did was I took her out. Our arena is quite a bit far away from where they are stabled. And I took her out to our big arena and just turned her loose and just let her play and kind of run around and, let off some steam. And then I ponied her back off of Lumpy, and she had a blast. So here we are. It was also nice to see what a nice mover she is, like a really, really pretty mover, and that she actually does have a motor when she wants to. And so here I am, another day working on getting a little bit more body control. And what I want her to do when she disengages, I want her to cross that inside hind leg up and over the outside. So she wants to go behind and go behind. That's a form of a brace, and I don't really want that. I want her to pick up and cross it over like that. And over again. She kind of understood. That's why I love positive reinforcement, because you're able to mark the exact behavior at the exact time that you want. And so she would actually kind of hover and hesitate that foot, and be like, oh, and correct herself and move it up and over because she figured out that's what I was after. And so here, what I'm trying to do is get her to move her shoulder over and cross that front leg over the other one. She wants to move her butt a lot, and I will work on that later. Right now, all I want is that foreleg closest to me to go up and cross over the other one, and the other one to go back to allow that, like in this case, the left foreleg to actually cross over. And she's really struggling with this method that I was asking, so I switched it up and I used the whip on her shoulder and the end of the whip by her eye. And then I'm also using the lead rope to kind of tell her which direction to go in. Perfect, right there. And so we just want one step right now. We'll do 1,000,001 steps to get that good. And then here, I'm working on a pad. So I let her target the pad, so before I approach her with it. And you could see what a difference she is than like the earlier video when she would turn her head and she didn't really want me on her side. And so here I'm just kind of seeing how she responds to it. And she could really give a fig. So that's awesome. And so here I threw it over her, and so I flipped it over to see how she would do. She could care less. Sometimes when you touch them on something on the other side, they kind of freak out. And I love this. She turned around and was like, what is that? And I love that. So I went ahead and rewarded that. I want to reward any type of thing where she's curious and being brave. Absolutely love that. And so the pad is just loose on her. And so I made her kind of move with it. And then I kind of, this is a good thing to think about for later. You see how she gets kind of sticky? So this tells me this horse is going to get sticky when she gets nervous. So I need to be very aware of that, especially when I start to riding her. And so I was kind of hoping the pad would fall off or the wind would catch it, it would fall off so I could see what she would do. And it didn't. It just rode up on her butt like that, which was kind of funny. She did not seem to care one bit about that, which is super cool. So the next thing here is I have a bareback pad. So I present it and she targets it. And I'm like, all right, that means you're cool. Because if she just kind of stood there and ignored it, then I know that she's not ready. But if she acknowledges it, then I know she's ready. And I'm putting it on backward here on purpose because the girth side would have been kind of long to flip over the first time on her. And, if it smacked her on the other side or something, I wanted to see first how she would handle just that little tab or whatever, that little piece of the girth first. And same thing, she could really care less. She's super cool with this. And it's so much different. Like you could see how she's not flinching anymore with anything. And this stuff is all new. She gets over stuff pretty quick and retains her training really, really well, which is super encouraging. So I'm going to go ahead and, cinch her up for the first time. And I'm rubbing all underneath her to see how she is the least cinchy horse I think I have ever met. Like she doesn't flinch at all. Like I can rub that whole girth area underneath it, not even a little bit sensitive. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm of course not just gonna, completely act like she's a broke horse already because she could do something. I'm just super encouraged by how she's behaving. And the other reason why I'm taking everything really, really slow is I don't want to miss a step. Just because she's quiet and willing and retaining the training, I don't want to skip things. I'm sure other trainers could be riding right now, but I just want to be really, really thorough, really prep her. And I think it's working because she's so much more relaxed and trusting around me and really looking to me. So that tells me I'm on the right track. I'm not on any kind of race to, beat everybody on riding first. All this stuff I'm doing on the ground is really going to benefit me under saddle. So I had put my hand up. I don't know if you noticed that. That's my signal for her to stop because she does kind of come up on me when she gets nervous. And that's I want you to stand and stay and stop. And she's picked up on that really, really fast. So here I am trying to get her to kind of move, see what she would do. Nothing. I mean, literally nothing. I'm like, okay, So I don't know if I've just been traumatized by training too many other horses, but I'm always like suspicious. So I'm like, okay, where's the buck? Please don't do it when I'm on you. So I moved on to, I don't know if you guys remember me doing this a lot with flowing this rope around her face. She's so good with it now. So the whole purpose of throwing the rope around her face, not only to get her less reactive around her face, but is to do this exercise, one of my favorite exercises. And I'm going to put that rope around her butt, and then I'm going to pull on it. I want her to follow that rope, follow that pressure. And what she does, and I left this in here because she ends up getting tangled up and going the other way. And so this is how you respond to that. Like, I put my hand up, I don't want her to come forward. I'm not pulling more. I'm just holding that rope up, and then I'm asking her to kind of stop and just following her because she's not quite sure what to do. But you just don't freak out. Whatever you do, don't pull harder when they kind of get tangled up like that. So now she's like, oh, she's followed that rope. And I think I give her a cue I clicked just to kind of let her know I want her to move. And she got out of that puzzle really, really well. And it just took that one time. And she picked it up. She picked it up on the other side too. She's a little stiffer on the other side. So that's another thing I need to be aware of. So going to the left, so it tells me her right side is stiffer. She struggled a little bit following that feel. So I get to put a little bit of pressure on that, and she just kind of turns her head and disengages out of it. Really, really nice. Great exercise. Love it. Here, I wanted to get her into our wash rack. And so what I'm doing, and I'm actually using the carrots that she loves. I've been using pellets, but for this, because it's kind of scary, I used carrots. And I'm using the target to have her follow the target up into the wash rack, because this is an exercise she knows to put along with something that's kind of scary, to kind of give her some confidence that she can do this. And it was, I don't know, somebody washed a horse or something, and it was kind of squishy. So that made it even worse. And then she just decided, okay, I'm good. And she walked right up in there. I was like, okay. And she decided she was cool with it. Such a good girl. And so here I have her, there is a, what's it called? Like a butt thingy that butt bar you put up there. And I put that up. And what I wanted to do was, so that's the first time I walked around the back of her, and she did great. And then I wanted to measure her because that's like, it's on cement, it's fairly level. She didn't stand the straightest, but it didn't make a whole lot of difference. It was pretty obvious she's 14 hands. So, and most horses are freaked out about this thing. And so I thought for sure she'd be freaked out. And she was like, I don't care. She could care less that I was going to measure her with that. And so the other thing I wanted to accomplish with her in here was to actually touch her tail. I don't have really long arms like a Citaro, so I needed something else to touch her tail, see how she would respond. And she's super sensitive with her tailbone. You can see right here what she does. Like when I touch that tailbone, she's like, no. She has the first time she ever like tried to pick up her foot or tried to kick out or anything like that. And so I'm really glad I had that bar in the way. So we worked through it. I brushed her entire tail and really rubbed on that tailbone, and she got over it, and she's great now. So now there's the sitter with Pantera. So he didn't really record but one day this past week because he said he just did a lot of the same stuff, so he didn't want to record it. Just a lot of repetitive stuff, doing over and over and over again. So here he is working on her feet, and this is so funny. Like, she is not budging. Like, she's like, mm-mm. So what he asked her to back up so he can kind of, get that foot up at the same time. And so what he ended up doing is tying one of the, 100 knots that he knows how to tie. I don't know how to tie any of those things. And kind of did it this way so he can back her up and pick up her foot at the same time to kind of get her weight off of it, because she was like, not doing it. So that was really good. She at least picked it up. She's not budging. She's funny. He's like, come on there. Ooh, we got it up. So he will hold it like this until they kind of stop fighting in rubber leg while it's up. So he has some control of the foot. A little different than me. It's, like I just said, 2 different methods, both effective. You got to do what works for you. There's no right and wrong here. And let's just take a moment to appreciate Isidore's insane rope skills that I completely do not have. I more like to hit myself in the face than actually do anything like that. Just phenomenal how he can do that. I think that was that was with his right hand. Okay. So he's working on her hind leg here, picking it up. And I don't know if you guys remember from the other videos, she's pretty sensitive with these back legs. She's quick and kicks out, and was doing it a lot with the water. And so he's able to kind of have a little bit of control of that foot when he has this rope. So he's trying to get her used to him touching him while he has her foot up. So you can kind of feel a little bit more when they're going to do like a mean kick. And she's not mean, she's just sensitive. So this works for him. My arms aren't that long. I have to do something else. If my arms were that long, I'm sure I could do that too. So then he was able to take it off, and he felt that she was okay to try it without the rope. And she actually did pretty good without the rope. And then, of course, he does it on the other side, so I'm not going to, put that whole video. It takes forever. And then the next thing he's going to do is he's working on prepping her for riding, and completely envious that he can actually just do that, because I certainly can't. You will see me later use a mounting block. And she did great for that. Like, that totally did not bother her. Of course, whatever you do on one side, you got to do on the other. She doesn't seem to mind the bouncing too much. That was good too. Like, she didn't even mind the rope getting tossed on the other side. Put his weight on her. She's super cool with that. Cool mare. Aww. So he's got her saddled up. He didn't record that this time, and he's going to balance on both sides. He's got a back cinch on her, and a regular riding saddle, not just our beater saddle that we throw on everybody. And he's going to go ahead and get up and down in the stirrup and put some weight in that stirrup. And she does really, really well. It's so funny. She didn't care that he was up there. And I love that he always does, he walks away. I need to do this more, where like you work on something and you got to just walk away and give him a little break, a little breather before you work on something else. And I guess he's working on trotting her in hand. I was so surprised when I saw this. I watched it back and I was like, oh, he's working on that already. Cool. And this is funny. So he didn't mind him being up there, but ooh, that rope going under the side of that saddle making that noise. Oh no, that was scary. But you can see how she doesn't bolt or anything. That neither one of these mares are bolters, which is awesome. I mean, we know how to fix that, but it's always fun when that's not really their jam. So this was like, we're going around in circles. You see, waits till she stops and gives her a little rub. We're going to do this side. And actually sat on her. She did really good. That's awesome. He does have a lot of what we call cariño, like just kind of loving on her and stuff. Because she's kind of a standoffish mare. And I think he's just checking her teeth here. They actually have an appointment, I think the first week of September, to get their teeth done. I could tell Chancla's got some issues, and so does Pantera here. So I've been getting a lot of comments that my mare is pregnant or looks pregnant. And yeah, she kind of does. But she was gathered in fall of 2018. She's been in BLM holding ever since, only living with mares. So unless she's carrying a baby elephant, she is most certainly not pregnant. And she's actually getting fit and losing weight and looking pretty good. So nope, not pregnant.